So you're probably seeing a lot of headlines out there stating that Europe is now banning visa-free travel, or that you will now need a visa to travel to Europe beginning in 2024. This isn't entirely accurate. What's happening is they're bringing a new program online. It's called ETIAS, and it is a travel authorization, not a visa. At the end of the day, do you have to do a new process before you travel? Yes. Is it a visa? Not exactly. Let's talk about the difference between the two and how the program is designed to work. All right, let's take a step back and talk about the difference between a travel authorization versus a visa. So travel authorization is a pre-screen. Basically, you've submitted your information, everything's good, and you have permission to travel to a country, or in this case, Europe or Schengen area. It's typically for tourism or some sort of short stay purpose, something that's 90 days or less. And if this is sounding a little frustrating or burdensome, just know that the US has had a travel authorization program called ESTA online since 2009. So all of our friends with visa-free access to the US have been doing this for quite a while. Now, visa, on the other hand, is typically some sort of long stay purpose, something other than tourism. However, there are some countries that do have specific tourism visas. China, for instance. If you want to travel to China, you need to go to an embassy or a consulate or hire a service to get that visa, and you get an actual sticker in your passport. But for Europe, it's generally for something more substantial, like a work visa, a job seeker visa. It could be a student visa, some sort of residency program, say for Portugal, Italy, or Greece. It could also be a digital nomad or a remote work visa for some countries. There's also investment visas, sometimes called golden visas if you buy a property or invest so much money. And then there's also family reunification visas, where maybe you have one of those other visas and the family can apply for a reunification visa so they can join you. Now, a travel authorization will be good for the Schengen area, plus Bulgaria, Cyprus, and Romania. A visa, however, is, while it gives you access to Schengen, it's really designed for you to go to a very specific country. And so you're going to live or work in a specific country, say Portugal or Spain or Italy or Germany. The travel authorization will be valid for 3 years and enter as many times as you're allowed within the Schengen rules, which is typically 90 days every 180-day period. A visa, however, is typically good for 1 or 2 entries at most, and it's normally sort of a single-use permit because you typically exchange your visa for a residency permit or residency card at that point. The travel authorization is only €7. Visa, however, can be, though maybe the visa process itself, the totality of the visa process could be hundreds of dollars or euro over time. The travel authorization is available online, and you submit personal information, and it's typically approved within a few minutes. The visa, however, is typically something maybe you do an appointment online, but there's an entire process to schedule an in-person appointment, submit the application. You typically have to visit the consulate or embassy in person, submit application, a background check, maybe some notarized or apostille documents, and the process is often taking days, weeks, or months, depending on the type of visa and the country that it's for. All right, so let's look at these new travel authorization programs in context. There's not a whole lot out there, but famously the US is the big one. Their program is called ESTA. It's been around since 2009, and basically countries that are part of a visa waiver program, basically visa-free access to the US, you're required to do this. It's $21 and it's valid for 2 years. And our friends that are north in Canada, their program is $7 Canadian, about $5 US, and it's good for 5 years. Yay, Canada, thank you for that. And US citizens are exempt. Now over in New Zealand, also a similar program, 17 New Zealand dollars, about $11 US, valid for 2 years, or 5 years if you are crew. Australian residents are exempt from their program. And then over in Korea, they also have a program that's online. It's 10,000 Korean won, about $8. It's valid for 2 years. And right now, until 2025, 22 countries are exempt, including the US. Now, this brings us to two travel authorization programs that are coming online pretty soon. The one we already talked about, Europe. So we have ETIAS, the one we already talked about for Europe. It gives you access to the Schengen area, plus Bulgaria, Cyprus, and Romania. Supposed to go online in 2024. Now, this program has been delayed multiple times, so we'll see what happens. Again, online application, €7, good for 3 years. Now, if you are under 18 or over 70, you get a waiver for the €7 fee. Now, also coming online is over in the UK. They're doing their own program. It'll be 10 British pounds, and it'll be good for 2 years, and it's supposed to go online at the end of 2023, but not much information is out there for it at this point. All right, let's dig into some details of the ETIAS program. So this isn't affecting just US and Canada. This is affecting folks from 59 other countries as well. And the program is linked to your passport. So just know that if for some reason your passport number changes, you'll need to get a new travel authorization. You should be approved in a few minutes. They say on the website it could take up to 96 hours, but typically they expect it to go within 10 minutes. If more information is needed for some reason, the entire process could take up to 30 days if they need additional documentation. You will receive an email once your application is approved, and you shouldn't have to show your approval to anyone. It should be in the system so the airlines see it, the border officers see it. You shouldn't have to bring it up. Now, some good news, you do not need ETIAS if you are entering on a visa, so work visa, student visa, some kind of resident program. For those of you who already have a temporary or permanent residency permit or residency card for Europe, you don't need to do the ETIAS program. And also for UK nationals, if you are a beneficiary of the withdrawal agreement, the whole Brexit thing, you don't need an ETIAS as well. So how does this affect you? Not a whole lot. I mean, if you're a family, that's going to be a lot of information to enter, sure. But one thing to note is with the ETIAS and the UK program coming online into next year, this means if you're planning a big trip to both London and Paris, you're filling out 2 authorizations. So just keep that in mind. But that sounds like an awesome trip. You should do it. All right, so I hope that clears up any confusion about ETIAS and makes it feel less daunting for you. If this has been helpful, please like the video if you liked it. And please feel welcome to ask any questions you have in the comments below. It's helpful for not just me, but for other people who are also going through the same process. So otherwise, travel well and be well traveled. See you next time.